His team going to just Chapman for three. He is hard to believe.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Time Dropper for another 2021-2022 post-game recap. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Time Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Time Dropper Pod. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Clippers and the Jazz, and as well as the Lakers and the Mavs. The Clippers on a 4-game winning streak coming into Utah, our first matchup against the Utah Jazz this season after obviously knocking them out at one of the greatest nights of my life, of course. The Game 6 video, that's of course on the channel, the night the Clippers broke that curse. And this is our first matchup playing against them, so I knew that they would want to. They probably had this one scheduled or circled on their calendars. You know, the Jazz blew a 25-point lead in that game, obviously with the number one seed with the best record in the NBA last season. And then obviously when Kawhi Leonard went down, they were expected to beat us, and they did not. And they failed miserably with that 25-point collapse, but also losing at home in Game 5. And I knew that tonight they were going to come at us hard, but I thought that in the first quarter we came out hard as well. I also want to say before I get into this game, this is going to be my last recap until probably next Tuesday. I'll have a vlog up for Clippers and Spurs because I'm going to go to that game on the Monday of next week. But then the next vlog will probably be next recap will probably be Tuesday, I assume. So, you know, enjoy some of my other content if you can. If you haven't watched some of my videos like the Time Machine or, of course, is the NBA getting better and better, I highly recommend those. But yeah, I will be back. Thanks everybody that showed up to Dimes Bank today, the Twitter space. Some really good knowledge in there, especially when we were talking about the ABA and the era that I'm on in the timeline. My Time Machine number 4 video will be coming very soon. The debut of Pistol Pete Maravich in the NBA in 1970-71 and Oscar Robertson as a Milwaukee Bucks player. It's a good one. It's going to be my 4th episode of Dime Dropper Time Machine, which is my detail series or my version of the detail series on ESPN that Kobe was doing before he passed, breaking down the old footage. And we're going to eventually get to Jordan, Bird, Magic, all that stuff, Kobe, everyone, LeBron. As everyone knows, that's my goal of this channel as well as the modern content. So make sure you check some of that stuff out. But anyway, let's get into the Clippers and the Jazz game tonight. The Clippers, I thought we came out really well, actually, energy-wise. Came out really energetic. I thought that we were fighting over screens for the most part. The only guy that really in our starting lineup that's a not very solid defender is Reggie. And I thought that Reggie's effort wasn't terrible defensively, but, you know, he just really he has a hard time getting over screens, especially off the ball as well. He was getting really caught on those screens. Of course, when you got a guy like Rudy Escar-Gobert, he's a very good screen setter. He's a huge body. So you're going to get caught on those screens sometimes and hit with those if you're not communicating properly and if you're not ready to get around them, get low and get yourself around those screens. And Reggie Jackson was just a step behind on a lot of those. But other than that, the rest of our defense was good. I thought we did a good job of knowing which screens to switch and knowing which not to. I thought Ivica Zubac did really well a good enough job in drop coverage, guarding those pick and rolls because Donovan Mitchell and Rudy is one of the best pick and roll duos in the league and have been for, I want to say 4 or 5 years now. Or should I say, Donovan Mitchell, this is his 5th year in the league. So he was really good with him in the beginning, honestly, from year 1. So you can really say 5 years now, but especially these last couple of years, especially when you have Bogdanovich, Joe Ingles, and Mike Conley, or Mike Conley, Royce O'Neal, and Bogdanovich around them. It's just they basically have the entire middle of the floor to work with. And Donovan Mitchell is really shifty. He's got a great step back. He's really good getting around guys with his in and outs and crossovers, and has a really solid floater. The thing about Donovan is, which really killed him in that playoffs, and a lot of Jazz excuse makers will say it was because he was injured and that he was, not the same after game two. But, he really fell in love with threes, and he's always had that tendency where he sometimes settles for really long threes. And that's something that he needs to clean up. And I think he's smart enough that he will over time. But there are more problems with the Jazz not being a championship team than Donovan Mitchell. That's the least of them. That he averaged like 35 points in our series. That's insane. 35 points in our series. Not many people average 30 in playoff series like that. And the fact that he did it, even though he lost, is pretty impressive. But regardless, good first quarter for us. Offensively, it was Marcus Morris Sr. and Luke Kennard that really were leading the charge. Marcus Morris Sr. getting into that mid post and those mid range areas, and hitting his turnarounds and really getting guys off the ground with his pump faking and his up and unders. And he was playing fantastic. Luke Kennard was moving hard off the screens and catching and shooting and firing away, getting in the mid range area as well, coming off those screens when they were running him off the line. He was doing a great job, and I thought that first quarter was led by those two. Second quarter, we were very good because Eric Bledsoe had his best shooting game of the season. He started out getting into the 8-foot, 10-foot in the paint area on the drive, and hitting floaters and then shots in the in between game. And one thing that interests me about defenses is I don't understand why they don't just go under the screen on Eric Bledsoe all the time. A lot of times, I know sometimes you may be afraid that he could turn on the gas and he has a running start if you go too far underneath the screen. But, I'd really go underneath every time because you got to make him shoot it. And a couple of times today, he got himself going by getting downhill and taking the space that he had in front of him and finishing well off the glass. And then he started hitting threes. And then obviously they started respecting him, going over the screen. He made some really nice pocket passes to Isaiah Hartenstein, who, again, I thought was fantastic. And I know we lost this game tonight, but I cannot say enough good things about Isaiah Hartenstein. He has just been unbelievable all season long in those roles, pick and roll situations, that push shot he's got. And he even had a couple of nice finishes with both hands tonight. His defense has been spectacular. Also played really good in that drop coverage, guarding, having to play two guys at once when a guy's coming off a screen. He just was fantastic. And I thought that the last couple minutes of the second quarter, we kind of, let our guard down just a little bit. But I also thought the Jazz, they're just a better team than us without Nico Batum and Paul George, which I failed to mention that they didn't play tonight, but I'm assuming you guys knew that. So Nico Batum, no Paul George. But they haven't been playing in these last couple of games anyway, but we haven't played a team like the Jazz in Utah. Utah is a very tough place to play historically. Everyone knows they're one of the best teams in the league. And, they've been playing with each other for years. And that's one thing you notice watching this Jazz team is I talked about the personnel having to guard that Donovan Rudy pick and roll, but it's second nature in terms of they know where each other are on both ends of the floor. I talked about it last year that I didn't really think the Jazz were going to be, I thought they were going to be like a 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 seed last year. Before last year, that was my prediction if you go back and find it. But they ended up being the number 1 seed. And sometimes you sleep on the fact that continuity is the best thing and just getting to know each other better. And, Jazz fans may blame it on injury. I blame it on the fact that they got way too 3 happy. Rudy Escargobert cannot post up. And we didn't have the small ball personnel. We didn't have Kawhi Leonard. We didn't have Paul George and Nico Batum. 3 guys essential for that switch everything personnel that killed the Jazz in the playoffs. And because we could not do that, we have to play the pick and roll straight up. And it's extremely hard when Donovan Mitchell is playing as well as he was. Rudy Escargobert is a great lob threat. He's not as much of a threat on those pick and rolls where he stops in the middle of in the drop coverage where he stops like 6 feet, 8 feet away for that push shot that Isaiah Hartenstein's so good at. He's not really that kind of guy. I saw there was a couple of times tonight Rudy was hesitant to take that shot. He prefers for the alley-oop, the lob all the way to the basket. And I thought someone else that was actually really good tonight for the Clippers was Zubats. I thought he was working really hard. I thought he made some really nice blocks, really good moments protecting the rim, had some really nice jump hooks. And I really like it when Zoo, has that nice jump stop, and then he turns and pivots over that left shoulder with his left foot and turns for that right-handed jump hook. I really like when he does that. And I really think that we need to start looking at Zoo as more of a guy that can get us a couple more points than we think he can, because then we're giving him an opportunity to show us at least, because he really has some skills down there. And I think his confidence is really starting to grow. You can see it in his body language. You can see it in the fact that I think people are telling him within the organization, like, dude, You're killing it defensively. We got one of the best defensive ratings in the league because of you. Dunk that thing every time you get the ball. It's a contagious effect. And I think that in the end of the second half or second quarter, we just let our guard down just a little bit. We went to a zone. And the thing with the Jazz that we found out in the last playoffs, you go back to my recaps from the second round, those are in a playlist as well. Remember to check out my playlist, guys, on my YouTube channel for specific things like each series or certain things in the playoffs from last year, or even my folder of all the recaps this season or vlogs, whatever. But you go back to my recaps from last season against that in the Jazz series. I talked about how when the Clippers went zone, they failed to sometimes go to a guy in the high post because Rudy's not really comfortable in the mid-range area making those kind of reads. He's starting to get better at those reads on short rolls in situations like that, or pick and rolls when guys rotate. Because when Donovan Mitchell's coming off screens, exploding like that and knocking threes down, you got to bring your big man up if that's who's, guarding the screen setter. You got to bring your big man up. And that leaves Rudy Gobert open on that roll, which means someone's got to rotate. And usually they've got a shooter so far away that it's very hard to rotate and make up that ground. So Rudy's gotten better at that over time. But overall, in a zone situation where guys are on you a little bit tighter, you need to be able to make quick reads or be able to be a threat in that mid post. And Rudy did not really go there enough last year. They did not. I would put Rudy in the dunker spot, if anything, and put someone like a Bogdanovich in that mid post. But they didn't do it enough last year in the playoffs. And then tonight they didn't do it really either. But they found open looks in the zone, good enough looks. And the objective of a zone is to not let guys get in the paint and around the basket. And I know the reason why we went to it. It's because we could not stop the Donovan Mitchell pick and roll. And we went to it to try to get him different looks. And Bogdanovich was hitting a lot of threes at the end of the second quarter. And credit to him. He's a really good shooter. And they were up by 6 going into the half. But the third quarter is when they really took us out, and they really extended their lead. And I thought in large part because Donovan just showed he was the best player on the court, got downhill, made a couple of shots around the basket, hit some threes, just in his full bag. Did a really good job of coming off screens and keeping guys on his hip, even the Terrence Manns of the world, Eric Bledsoe's, that were doing a pretty solid job. I thought Reggie Jackson, they were putting him in a lot of actions, and I thought he was struggling a lot, fighting over screens and getting over them, as I said, getting hit on them and being really a step behind. And, I love Reg, but he's not the best defender. I'm repping his shirt today. Shout out to my man, Ernie, Clipper fan. He's got his own Instagram and clothing line and making t-shirts for all of us here at Clipper Nation. So the Reggie Vision shirt, go to Trinity Skate Apparel, show my man Ernie some love if you're a Clipper fan. Reggie Vision, baby. Reggie Vision, though, he didn't have the best game tonight. 6 of 16 from the field, 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists. I didn't even notice that, to be honest. But I thought in the third quarter, Reggie Sr. especially were extremely stagnant. The whole team was stagnant, but they were just holding on to the ball way too long. And, just a couple of screens. Jazz would switch certain things and a lot of just dribbling, everybody watching. And a lot of ill-advised threes taken quick in the shot clock. And that gave the Jazz confidence. You get stops, you get the crowd into it, you get in transition a little bit. And that's what Donovan was doing. Royce O'Neal, 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, but I thought that he played really solid defense. I think he's definitely, and everyone knows this, their best defender on the perimeter, without a doubt. And, his impact was felt, even though the stat sheet doesn't really show it. But a guy that, interestingly, Mike Conley, the Clipper killer, didn't have a very good game today. He looked old. It looked like he couldn't burst by much and couldn't get off the ground. And we were running him off the three-point line a lot. He only shot 4 threes. And I know he's been shooting really well from 3. I think that was part of the scouting report to run him off the line. 1 of 4 from 3 and 4 of 12 from the field, only 9 points. So we did a good job on him. But Donovan Mitchell was a problem all game long. And in that second half, he really took over. And we were really stagnant. And we didn't do ourselves any favors shooting threes early in the shot clock. Not moving the ball quickly enough at all. Not moving the ball inside. And, they were letting a little bit of hand checking go, as they have been in a lot of games this season. And we just didn't have a pick and roll threat like the Rudy Donovan pick and roll. But I think that, Zoo and Hartenstein, I really don't blame them for anything. I think Hartenstein, Zoo, and Bledsoe are probably our best players tonight, honestly. And I thought that we kept Luke Kennard out for a large portion of the second half. Too long for my liking. And Reggie Jackson in too long for my liking. But it's weird because Reggie only played 25 minutes in the game and Kennard played 31. It did not feel like that watching it, at least in the second half. But another guy that we needed more from offensively was Terrence Mann. Only 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3 and 3 points. Needed a lot more. A couple times they went under screens and Terrence missed a mid-range. I think that was one time, but it stuck out because they were going under the screen a lot there. Marcus Morris Sr., though, tried to carry us back into it, and we ended the third quarter better because of Senior. He was really in his bag. And guys, Clipper Nation, I'm really excited about the way Senior has looked in these last couple of games because he started out the season very slow, and people were talking about we got to trade Senior. I was even listening to it like, man, he could be just too injury prone right now. But right now, he's starting to get back to form. He's starting to get back to the Marcus Morris Sr. that we know and love, and we saw in the regular season last season. And he was awesome tonight. 24 points, 10 of 20 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. But we turned the ball over too much in that second half. We had 16 turnovers in the game. And you mix that with the way that the Jazz shoot at home. And as I said, their continuity with one another. A lot of the passes are just second nature for Donovan. And he knows where these guys are going to be. He knows when, like, you can see him predicting, putting his finger up and hands up before shots even go up in the air. He trusts these guys. He's played with these guys for years. He's played with Joe Ingles since year one, Rudy since year one, Conley now for 3 years, Royce O'Neal for a couple, Bogdanovich now for 3. So they have good familiarity with one another, and you can tell. And we were shorthanded tonight, and that's why I don't think it's a big deal, Clipper Nation. Was our defense good enough? No. It wasn't good enough in the second half. Was our offense good enough? Not enough. Third quarter only scoring 22 points. That's not going to do it against the Jazz. And we lose it 124 to 103. The Clippers dropped to 16 and 13. Jazz moved to 20 and 7. Clear-cut player of the game, Donovan Mitchell, 27 points and 6 assists. 10 of 15 from the field and 2 of 7 from 3. Everything starts with him. Rudy Escar-Gobert had a good game, though. I'm not going to lie. Stat-wise, it looks like he has a better game, but I don't know. You can take your pick with that. I wouldn't fault you for saying he had a better game, but I think Donovan was just more of a problem. 20 points and 17 rebounds for Rudy to go along with 2 blocks on 8 of 10 from the field. They did a good job of putting him in the right positions to succeed, and he did a good job taking positions in which he is effective, down underneath the basket, lob passes and such. Bojan Bogdanovic had a very good game as well. 20 points, 7 of 10, 70% from the field, 6 of 7 from 3. So 6 of 7 from 3 is unbelievable. A lot of those were not easy. And then Jordan Clarkson off the bench, a quiet 21 points. A lot of them came in that second quarter, I believe, if I could recall correctly. 8 of 14 from the field and 3 of 5 from 3, but quieter than usual, I should say. Very efficient. The Jazz win it 124 to 103. The Lakers against the Mavericks. No Luka Doncic. I did not watch this game entirely, but I'll tell you this. The Lakers need to be waxing teams like this. They're on a 2-game winning streak. After losing to Memphis, LeBron dominated the Thunder, dominated the Magic. Anthony Davis is back after missing 2 games in which they won because of that sore back. I'm watching the game today, and yeah, the Lakers start out good in the first quarter. Russell and LeBron are starting out good in the first quarter, up by 10. I turn on the game in the second quarter, and I'm watching terrible basketball. And let me explain why it was terrible basketball. You got guys like Anthony Davis, who we make a lot of excuses for. He, has a mismatch basically every time down the court. He doesn't act upon this. His team is now not really treating him like that go-to guy that to the extent that he should be in this stage of his career. I'm watching him not even try to. I know, he's just coming back from 2 games out. Okay, there's the excuse. There's the built-in excuse that we put in for this guy. What I always say about the excuses, guys. When you make the same mistakes when you're healthy, that's when it's not just the injuries. It's a lot more than that. It's just something that with you, and we all know this with Anthony Davis now, and I think a lot of Laker fans are not making excuses for him anymore either. Every time down, how far he is from the basket, the shots he's settling for, fadeaways, 18 feet away against guys he should be dominating. and where he is, and sometimes his lack of aggression and lack of command of the ball. It's just ridiculous. And then you go to LeBron in the second quarter, dribbling the air out of it. Just 3 straight possessions, just dribble, 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 pound. Like, just to get a bunch of screens and take a contested shot or just drive in and jump pass and turn the ball over and make one of who was, shooting threes unnecessarily and, just taking jump shots in which the defense is going to live with all day long. And Jalen Brunson was playing fantastic, getting downhill and getting to the basket. And Tim Hardaway Jr. was hitting some shots. And, the Mavs, you're just playing with your food. You're just playing with your food. And one thing I noticed about Kristaps Porzingis, I was very critical of him for being same as Anthony Davis, but worse. The same problem league wide of these big men. No post game, not taking advantage of mismatches, all that stuff, just being a spot up shooter. But it seems like a lot of that after an article came out today was Rick Carlisle. You can see that Jason Kidd clearly has put an emphasis as a smart basketball mind that he is of Porzingis trying to post up. He still has no lower body strength. He still doesn't get good enough post position. He still fades away like a guard. But at least he's trying to get the ball against smaller guys 15 feet away and at least shoot over them. At least he's demanding it. And I mess with that. There's improvement. And I think that could be huge. And depending on the matchup, maybe getting the Mavs past round 1 finally. It really could. But I just think the supporting cast is not good enough. Like Dorian Finney-Smith, he's solid. He should come off the bench. They should get a better starter than him. Reggie Bullock, not good enough. Jalen Brunson's good. I think they could even get him. Like if they could get a Miles Turner instead of Dwight Powell, that would be sick. But I don't know. They already have Porzingis for that pick and pop stuff. So I don't know. They still did a couple of better pieces for the starting lineup. Move some of these guys to the bench or trade. That would be a guarantee to get out of the first round if Porzingis continues to be a little bit aggressive. But second quarter was just terrible for the Lakers, guys, point blank. 14 points scored. Are you serious? 14 points scored in a quarter without Luka. I know that doesn't have anything to do with defense, but it has something to do with getting stops and potentially leading to easy baskets. It was pitiful. It was absolutely pitiful. And, when LeBron's dribbling the air out of the ball with Westbrook on the court, what good does that do for him? Seriously, what good does that do for him? Third quarter, I didn't even watch it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch it. Fourth quarter, turned it on in the last 3 minutes. It was Comedy Central, guys. If Luka was there, I know it's If Smith, but the Lakers, they deserve to lose this game, in my opinion. Sorry, Laker fans, you deserve to lose this game with the way you were ending it. Anthony Davis shooting 3-pointers and airballing. And Wayne Ellington, LeBron made some really good passes. Wayne Ellington's airballing threes. LeBron's shooting threes from way deep, and it's just hitting the backboard and coming off, not even hitting in the rim. He's pulling up for the win and bricking. And the only reason was like some scramble, and Wayne Ellington came up with the ball, went to the left corner and made a game-tying three. So lucky, man. The Lakers it was a joke. Russell Westbrook didn't touch the ball for minutes until the overtime when then LeBron gave him the ball on a catch and shoot three, and he airballed. And it's like, dude, but it's funny because he airballed that and then came back and hit a three in the left corner, and that was a huge shot in the overtime by Russ. And Anthony Davis even had a beautiful spin move and pull up jumper in the overtime too. It just makes you shake your head as a Laker fan. I was watching it with one of my friends, and he was just shaking his head like, "Come on, man! Like you can do that so much and all that." But it was an entertaining game. Russell Westbrook makes the go-ahead three, obviously. But Maxi Kleba made a bank shot three, which was ridiculous to tie the game. Then the last possession, I thought it was an amazing possession. It all starts with LeBron James coming off the screen. Two guys that have to react to him. And he makes the pass that he always makes that, he gets criticized for so much. Wayne Ellington made the extra pass, even though he could have shot it. But it was a smart decision, being that it was a tie game, to make the extra pass and be patient. Russell Westbrook then had an open left corner three. And, sometimes in the past, Russell Westbrook would shoot that shot, but he drove it in, drew the defense to him, and made it pass to a guy that was big all game long, Austin Reeves. Hillbilly Kobe. We've been talking about him all season. I really like his game. I think he's one of the better players on this Laker team, surprisingly. And what a shot. Could have been an and one. Huge shot by Austin Reeves to win the Lakers the game. Great play by Russell Westbrook. 107-104. The Lakers win in Dallas by the skin of their teeth. They move on to 16-13, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the exact same record as my Clippers, but the Clippers have won the tiebreaker because we beat the Lakers a couple of weeks ago. We look at the lines. LeBron James. You guys, Laker fans, you tell me who your player of the game was, because I didn't watch the whole game. LeBron James, 24 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 9 of 19 from the field, and 4 of 9 from 3. 43 minutes played is a lot. That's a solid stat line. Only 5 assists, though, is interesting for LeBron. Anthony Davis, 20 and 12. 6 turnovers, though. 8 of 18 from the field. 0 of 3 from 3. Russell Westbrook, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 turnovers. So, that's a Russell Westbrook stat line. 8 of 18 from the field. 1 of 4 from 3. Not much else from anyone else, really. Austin Reeves, 15 points, was the next highest scorer, actually. 5 of 6 from the field and 5 of 6 from 3. So all his shots were threes, and he shot 5 of 6. That's very impressive. And no one else even got in double figures for the Lakers. Jalen Brunson, 25 points, 9 assists on 11 of 18 shooting for the Mavericks. Kristaps Porzingis, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 8 of 23 from the field and 1 of 7 from 3. But that's it for me tonight, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you tune into my other content. If you miss me during these next couple of days, won't be able to be on my recaps. Maybe I'll be able to get some tweets off, depending on if I have internet and access to it frequently. But go Clippers and be easy, guys. Now to the live subscribers waiting so patiently in the chat. Super chat's turned on. If you want to drop $1 a dime, what's going on, ladies and gents? No ladies, of course. Sadly, no ladies like me, and nobody likes basketball talk. I'm just fucking around. What's up, y'all? What is up? Let's see the comments. 16 people in the live tonight. I know it is a little bit late, I will say. Man, that water can be really good sometimes, man. Austin Reeves MVP season says free the commish. What's up, Ja'Cory Marshall? How you doing? Says nobody's sleeping on the Jazz. It's been the same thing year after year in the playoffs. Tired of the don't forget about the Jazz. Yeah, you like the Reggie shirt? Collins Dang Clips fan says, "Let's go Clips." Why is Laker fan Michael Jordan here? Clips own Staples Center now, dude. Clips fan, you gotta understand. Dime Dropper is a channel for all basketball fans, especially Laker fans, because this is an LA centric podcast. We need to get rid of Kawhi, says Clips fan. AD gotta be better, says Michael George. Collins Dang says AD had 6 turnovers. You gotta chill out. Right? Says Austin Reeves should start over Bradley. Why not, honestly? Maybe that's a good idea. Right? It says so should Ellington. Let THT come off the bench as a 6th man. Those are good suggestions. Enrique Rodriguez says there's no doubt that there's something wrong with Anthony Davis. He has not been that dominant guy that we used to see him be. Michael George says, I don't know about that. I like Bradley for defense and occasionally threes. Let's not overreact on Reeves. I don't know, man. I think he may be sleeping, man. I don't know how much Bradley's got really left in the tank. Is he that much better at defense right now than Reeves? Showtime Nick says it really hurts to feel any need to criticize AD because I don't want to do this to guys who brought my team a championship, but truth be told, AD deserves the slander right now. Collins Dang says Cleveland was clutch today. Enrique Rodriguez says LeBron no doubt almost blew it for us. Showtime Nick says, I remember also saying like 5 times you don't need a three to take the lead, and LeBron pulls up from Steph Curry land and bricked it. AR 15 bailed out LeBron today, says Collins Dang. Lake Show says Reeves should have been on start. Enrique Rodriguez says someone tell Frank Vogel to put Austin Tyler Reeves in the starting lineup. Lake Show says Austin, player of the game, no question. Collins Dang says Reeves, player of the game. Nathan Cruz says, what's poppin', Dime? What's up, Nathan Cruz? Raheed Chowdhury says Ellington made 2 of the biggest plays of the night with that 3 and hustle back to prevent an easy layup. Showtime Nick, great point. I did forget about that. Should have also brought up that Ellington stopped the fast break in a 2-on-1, not giving up on the play. Yes, you're right about that. That was a big time play. Dorian, did you see the end of the Thunder Pelicans game? I saw that. That was insane. That was insane. Devontae Graham, I've never seen a guy hit a shot in the NBA from 3/4 court to win a game. I've seen Rasheed Wallace. I remember watching that game live against the Nuggets, the Pistons Nuggets, when Rasheed Wallace stole the ball and threw it up from 3/4 court and banked it in for the tie, but not for the win. That was unbelievable. And SGA's shot before that was ridiculous too. That was insane. Nathan Cruz says, I passed by you at the Clips Magic game. And why didn't you say anything? What's wrong with you? You didn't say anything and you're in my lives? Man, Nathan Cruz, I'm disappointed in you, man. You passed by me, didn't say anything. Hayden says, player comparison for Donovan Mitchell. I hear Dwayne Wade a lot, but I don't see it. Yeah, D Mitch operates really far from the basket compared to D Wade. D Wade's a lot stronger, better defensively. Donovan's better from 3. Probably better shooter overall. But D Wade, man, he's just such a beast. Just could work in tight spaces. Great finisher. Mitchell's a good finisher too. But I think D Wade was just so smart. Dorian, did you expect the Cavs to be this good 30 games into the season? Asked Raid. No, I did not. They have been the most impressive team of the season so far. There's no doubt about it to me. Enrique says Reeves is the player of the game, no doubt. 5 of 6 from 3, and he's only 23-year-old, ladies and gents. Sure, Westbrook's stats were big, but when the Lakers needed someone to step up, Reeves answered. Top Rivers says, is Zion going to be okay? I don't think so, man. He's out of shape, and he's going to miss this whole season, basically, and that's going to be weak. Collins Dank says, hey, Dime, should Adams leave Portland? Portland? Who's Steven Adams? Or what pieces should they trade for? Who's Adams? Raid says, Darian, who do you think has been the biggest disappointment so far? Dame, AD, or Plumber Jim? Oof. I'd say Dame. I watched him the other night, and that was the first time I watched him this season, besides the Clipper game. And man, I'd never seen him brick so many shots down the stretch. Shots that he's made his whole career. They've lost because of him. He really got so many good looks. I know he had to carry a big load, but come on, man. It's Damian Lillard. I know maybe he's injured, though. People are saying he's got that abdomen injury. He needs to get surgery. So he may not be the same this season. Right? It says Dorian, rookie Austin Reeves or rookie Caruso? Oh, Reeves by far. Not even close. Come on, dude. Clips fan. Dime, when do you think we're going to get rid of Kawhi? I really want him gone. What? What's wrong with you? Lou says, yo, Dime. What's up, Lou? Right? It says, I believe Jeremy Lamb made a 3/4 shot to win against Toronto in 2019. Half court. half court, or maybe a little beyond. MJ Robinson says, "What's up, bro? What's up, man? I didn't realize it was you until after I passed by you." Well, Nathan Cruz, you could always turn around and come back and like tap me on the shoulder or something, dude. Do not be a stranger, man. You're in my lives, dude. I appreciate you guys. Clipsman says, "I'm more of an OG type basketball dude, and Kawhi faking injuries doesn't fit the old type style of play. He's not faking injuries though, bro. I'm an old school basketball dude. Look at me. Look at my content, man. Look at the way I talk. I'm as old school as it gets for a new kid. I'm 2000. Last game, prove how deep we are. Hey, we knew that we were deep." Lake Show says, "Dime, what are your thoughts on this COVID cases in the NBA? I think it's terrible. I think it's just rampant around the various leagues around the world. Premier League's having the same problem. And by the way, I want to give a shout out Sergio Aguero announcing his retirement tonight or today. One of my favorite players to watch in all sports. One of the clutchest athletes I've ever seen. One of the best strikers to ever grace the Premier League. One of the best strikers of this generation. Just an incredible player all around. Could dribble and one v one, create space for a goal. Was always in the right place, at the right time. Just a total finisher. Could score every single type of goal you can think of. Obviously, not shorter striker, not as great in the air. But man, was he incredible and Man City legend. And it's just happy retirement. It's sad that he had to retire early because of those heart issues, but safety is more important. We want Kun Aguero in this life to live on. But it was a pleasure watching him play, man. I got to see him score a goal live. Got a video of it. I plan on posting that Liverpool Man City game for you guys, like the game I went to. If you want to see what a real loud ass game, the best sporting event I've ever been to, tied with that Jazz game. Oof. It's that Man City Liverpool, the game that changed the title race. Lake Show asked, "Do you think they should go back to the bubble format or cancel season or temporarily cancel?" I don't think it's going to get to that point. Definitely not bubble. Definitely not. We're not going back to glorified summer league. If anything, just no fans, but a little bit. But no, definitely not. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'll all be good. It's reported that the Pistons are looking to trade Jeremy Grant, says Enrique Rodriguez. Who do you think is the greatest fit for him? I think he could fit a lot of teams. I think he'd be fantastic for the Clippers, but it'd be coming at a price. I think he would be great for the Lakers, if anything, more than anything. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if the Lakers have the money to take that contract on. $20 million a year. Unless they give up Russ. Oh, Colin thinks I meant Dame. I think Dame's gonna stay in Portland. I just think that they should trade CJ for Ben Simmons, get a move on here. KB Magic says, "Dime, what's happening, bro? What's up, KB Magic? Dude, KB, why don't you hop in a Dime's Bank any of these days? The space. We want to hear from you in person, man. Or voice to voice." Hitting the head says Memphis. What the hell does Memphis have to do with anything? Top River says Dame been overrated, in my opinion. Enrique Rodriguez says Clipper fan wants Kawhi gone. Dang, LMAO. Right, Chowdhury. Darian, what does Steph Curry breaking the 3-point record do for his legacy? Oh, yeah, congrats to Steph. I got to give him a shout out because I didn't go live last night. Congratulations to Steph, man. What a player. It's been an honor to witness him from day one. I remember that 2010 3-point shootout. Thinking like, man, I hope he has a good career, but wow. 3-point leader, past Ray Allen. It was awesome seeing Ray there. Brings me back to my childhood, man. And, good for Steph Curry. Good for Steph Curry. It's a special moment. What does it do for his legacy? I don't know. Not good. It's a record. It's a record. Nathan Cruz says, "Do you think the Clips should trade Ibaka?" No, we absolutely shouldn't. We need a pick. It's great to have a pick and pop big option. He's the only one on our team that can do that. Hayden Sigerton asks, "Is 2013 LeBron the best version of LeBron?" Honestly, the honest answer to that is I have to rewatch the film. But for me, I like 2018 LeBron because of his offense in the playoffs, because of his offensive confidence. But if you want to mix regular season and playoffs, 2013 LeBron. 2013 LeBron. KB Magic says, "Chill, nothing. Lakers are garbage and old." You're a hater though, KB. I know you hate Bron. Raid asked, does Luke Kennard deserve a spot at the three-point shootout? I hope he participates because it's in Cleveland and he's from Ohio and he's been shooting at a great percentage. And of course, it's great to root for a Clipper in the three-point shootout. I think Luke should absolutely participate and I'd have his back. Lake Show asks, space has been lit, fam. Let's continue to network and build a community of knowledgeable students. Thanks for hosting and really enjoy it, man. Safe travels on the out-of-town trip. Much love and respect. Appreciate you, Lake Show. Thank you so much. Appreciate you hopping in that space too, man. Love hearing from you as well. I know you appreciate hearing from those guys as much as me. Top Burger says best version of Braun is in the 2016 finals. I disagree with that because I think that if you say the last 3 games of the 2016 finals, yes. The first 4 games, no. He played ass in some of those games. His jumper was still kind of broke to me. Clips fan says, yeah, too bad the Clippers will never get a player like Steph. Yeah, we have instead the guy that beat him in the playoffs and outplayed him in a series. Kawhi Leonard. Right? It says best version of Braun is 2018. Offensively, no doubt. His confidence-wise was unbelievable. But I also think the shitty defense and the bad teams he played in the playoffs may have maximized it more than I think. But I have to go back and watch. But no, his confidence offensively and his skill offensively has come a long way, and that was one of his best. For sure, Enrique on the spaces. Wow, Raid says that 3-game stretch by LeBron in game 6 and 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals and game 1 of the finals is his best 3-game stretch, even more so than down 3-1 against the Warriors. I don't know, man, because the Warriors, you had to play against better defense and a better team. That's a tough one. I think offensively, I would have to probably agree with you. And he was making insane shots, like Kobe shots, like step back threes, like, like just crazy shots from deep. You hadn't been used to him seeing him make consistently. Nathan Cruz says, do I think Terrence Mann's been disappointing this season? No. I think he started out disappointing, but I think he's starting out a much better season. He had a rough patch again, but now he's started the last couple of games, he's done better. Knicks and Blazers disappointing this just as Collins, dang, definitely. KB Magic says, what is space? It's the Twitter space. On the top of your Twitter page, you see those bubbles? Those bubbles, that's like a chat room basically, where we talk. Lake Show's in it, I'm in it. Right? Ask Darian who's more valuable to the Clippers, Reggie Jackson or Terrence Mann? Reggie Jackson, because we need that scoring right now. Clips fan says, yo, Dime, what do you think of us trading Beverly last week? What? Enrique, KB Magic's on Twitter. Raid says you can remember Boston had a top 3 defense. Here's the thing, though, Raid. You got to compare it to what LeBron has played throughout his career. That defense is cupcake shit. With that spacing, man, it's different. It's a whole different ball game. It's not the same defense. It's not real rim protectors. Who's a rim protector? Al Horford? Come on, man. It's LeBron James. You need real rim protection. So, anyway, anything else, guys? 45 minutes is a nice one. Right? Ask Darian how's KB Magic a hater. He hates Bron. For the same reasons I don't like him, but he just takes it to a crazy level. That's why I say I'm not a hater, guy. I try to be rational with him. I like old LeBron. I just don't like this entitled one we've seen in the last 5 years. Lake Show says 3 most important Clippers to you, like in terms of setting culture for Clippers from back then and now. Okay, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and I'm honestly gonna have to say Kawhi Leonard because he chose to come to the Clippers as the Finals MVP. That forever is gonna make the Clippers more legitimate than a lot of franchises. Because here's the thing. You can go back to like the Ron Harpers and the Mark Jacksons and them, but nothing long-term success came out of that. We still had shitty years after that. Michael Candy, and there's the Quentin Richardson and them and all that, but we still weren't selling out games. We had no consistent playoff buzz. So, Bev, no. Bev's not good enough for that. We still have that stars of this franchise. I like Patrick Beverly, though. SGA or Ingram? I like Ingram. I like Ingram. But let me think. SGA's in his fourth season. Ingram in his fourth season. Yeah, I'd still say Ingram. It's pretty close though between SGA and Ingram in their fourth seasons. But yeah. Clips fan says, did I get banned? No. Okay, Lakeshore says BI now, SGA later. You could be right. SGA could be better than Ingram. NBA Robinson says I fuck with Braun, but his fans make you want to see him lose. And Wright says I feel that way with Steph Curry. KD Magic says, yep, I can't stand LeBron. I'm not going to fake it or hide it. Just not my type of player. Feel you, at least you're honest. Nathan Cruz says, imagine if in 2019 offseason the Clippers got KD and Kawhi and didn't have to trade SGA and all their picks. Well, it's fun to imagine, right? Ingram been balling, says KB Magic. Yeah, too bad he's stuck in that with New Orleans and Mr. Zion, who just keeps eating away and not being healthy and can't get on the court. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to have to peace out. Thanks so much for joining, guys, my loyalists, my diehards. Make sure you guys leave the comments for the algorithm. Make sure you guys turn the notification bell on when I go live. And make sure you guys leave a comment and a like whenever you see me post. Even if you can't watch the video, leave a like and a comment just so we can get back in favor of these algorithms as best we can. And check out any of my other videos if you haven't seen them. Time Machine. New one's coming, guys. Education for free. So, Clips fan says you're not a diehard. All right, my guy. Peace out, y'all.